The word fabulous may be overused, but I have to use it today, and you'll understand why soon enough. Join me as my guest and I have a ton of fun exploring it, and exploring how to claim it. Whether you've been fabulous for a while, or you're just now dipping your toe into the ab-fab pool, this episode is for you. 1,000 bonus points if you get the ab-fab reference. Is this my clandestine way of sneaking self-care into our chats? Perhaps, but trust me when I say it will be entertaining as well as inspiring. You're listening to the Positively Living Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Zawrotny, founder of Positively Productive Systems and a coach certified in time and stress management, helping clients make space for what matters most in their lives. Join me each episode and we'll talk about decluttering, stress management, habits, personalized productivity, gratitude, and so much more. I understand the overwhelm of life because I'm a wife, mom to kids and cats, and a former caregiver. I'm here to help you choose what's right for you so you can do less, live more, and breathe easier. Sound good? Let's get to it. Today, I welcome Lauretta Nkwocha to the Positively Living Podcast. She's a fellow podcaster and someone I was drawn to immediately for her infectious love of life and her determined balance of her roles as an entertainer, wife, mom, and so much more. Lauretta is a British-born Nigerian entertainer living, working, and loving out loud in New York. She is a wife and mother to 2 young children. Her work as an entertainer ranges from several TV shows for the BBC to singing and dancing on London's West End stage, from playing Lady Macbeth in theaters across the UK to playing an American on America's longest-running CBS soap, from discussing vocal techniques in London with the legend Luther Vandross to singing for Bravo's Real Housewives in New York City. Her most recent endeavors have seen her host her own talk show on Facebook Live, Leave It to Lauretta, and then Leave It to Lauretta and the Family, and most recently, her podcast, Living Out Loud with Lauretta, which is all about the pursuit of balance for parents, maintaining the fabulous adult you are while being a great parent. Lauretta believes that in the pursuit of this equilibrium, it is imperative to look out for our mental health. Self-care is a must, and that's what we talk about today. Our conversation is exactly what you'd expect from an entertainer and me, a willing sidekick with a few theater roots herself. It's pretty much a self-care themed variety show. There are different voices and confessions and a ton of laughter. And then she made me cry. No, she wasn't mean. It was her heartfelt sharing of gratitude at the end, which is one moms and daughters alike will appreciate hearing. I might be a big softie, but I dare you not to cry too. In addition to the laughter and tears, we cover all the technical things you might expect, like lists and schedules. She's inspiring with the way she sets up her week for all the things she loves, but it's so much more than that. At one point, she asks, "What would you say to you if you saw you struggling in the pursuit of balance?" She says, "Feel the fear and do it anyway." Lauretta shares so much of herself today and gets to the heart of what it means to find your fabulous. It means finding your passion and intentionally and strategically structuring your life in a way that drives you toward it. Welcome, Lauretta Nkwocha, to the Positively Living Podcast. You and I connected recently in this magical online world through podcasting, and we've been having the best time on Instagram together. And I'm so
I love it.
delighted.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you, and I'm looking in your eyes.
I know,
Right?
isn't that the best? I love technology.
Yeah.
So let's start. Oh my goodness, where do we start? We start with you. How about you tell us a bit about who you are, who you help, what you do, what makes you light up?
Ooh, well, can I start from the last question going forward?
You go wherever you want to go.
Okay. I mean, I've got to say, in this era where we are reminded every single day of just how frail life is, I've got to say that being able to wake up each morning and feel my limbs moving and know that I'm breathing, my house, my home is still around me, I'm in my bed, that makes me light up. So I think many mornings you'll see me dancing around the kitchen while I'm getting the kids ready for school or whatever. It's that joy, it's that gratitude, really, for the simple but awesome gift of life. So, as for who I am, darling, well, I am a British born Nigerian entertainer. Let's put it that way. I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I'm a host. I moved to America about 15 years ago. I went to one of the top drama schools in England, worked a lot as an actor, wanted to continue my dream in America, the land of opportunity, as it were, and moved here, was singing like constantly, literally up until COVID hit. It's interesting to be an essential part of a non-essential business, but somehow people have still managed to kind of throw little tiny parties here and there, because I've been used to singing live, in front of a live audience, somewhere between 1 and 4 nights a week. So it's been an interesting change of pace. So I am more mummy to 2 and wife to 1 and new podcaster. So it's been an interesting journey this last year.
I know, this is exciting, and this is how we met. And this is why I'm so grateful for podcasting. It's so incredible to connect with people from all over the world, and then sometimes have them end up being practically neighbors because we're in the same state.
Exactly. I mean, I interviewed someone like last week or 2 weeks ago. I mean, she's a friend of mine, but she lives 5 minutes away from me, and we could have been in the same room, but obviously we're trying to make sure that we're keeping our social distancing, etc. But it's so funny you can talk to people who are all the way in England or Canada or Australia and someone next door. It's fabulous. I love podcasting.
Yeah. It opens up our worlds in terms of the people we meet, and then of course the ideas that we share. And I have to tell you, whether the term is used, abused, or otherwise, the first thing I thought when I saw you was, she's fabulous. And I couldn't keep that word out of the equation. And I was so inspired by how you present yourself. And, people call me Smiley. Yeah, I'm like Eeyore here. I mean, like, and I love it. I just love it because what you offer is infectious, and it's very much needed. Again, to keep the context, we are having this conversation in early 2021. And in 2020, we've had all the experiences, right? All the stress and all the worry. And like you said, being able to wake up each day and to still find a way to do the things that we love is something to be incredibly grateful for.
Look for something new to love. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this is the time, this is the era to explore, to make mistakes maybe, but just really let yourself try everything and anything, as long as you're being safe and remaining healthy, as much as you possibly can. This is the time to do it. My goodness me. So it's been an interesting part of my life to kind of go and explore things, and just, I had never really even listened to a podcast before last summer. So now I'm like, oh my goodness me, what a wonderful invention that you can do it while you're doing other stuff. And, us mothers, we are used to having to multitask continuously. We get very adept at it. So being able to actually listen to conversations and meet new characters, and, I mean, I haven't even scratched the surface in the world of podcasting, but I love that it's all out there for our earbuds. I love it.
Yeah, and you can literally pick a topic that you want, something that you want that will entertain, inspire, educate, maybe all of the above, and just pull it right in while you're living your life. It's my favorite thing in the world. See, I was a fan for quite some time and always knew, this is something I want to do, And just everything that happened, all the shifts, and that inspiration to say, okay, what can I explore? What can I do? What's needed? That brought me to podcasting. And for you, it was this creative shift, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I had explored, I'd been introduced to, let's put it this way. I'd done a tiny bit of hosting in England, but then when I moved out here, I'd done bits and pieces for other people, but I'd never done something, in front of a live audience on a regular basis, like a weekly panel thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my guests, who ended up being a really close friend, she had a Facebook Live show and she asked me to come on as a guest, first of all, and then come on whenever I could to co-host. And it just really, ignited the fire in me. So I ended up getting my own Facebook Live show and I loved it. And with it being Facebook, you're doing a lot of the stuff yourself. So you are learning a lot of the technical things. Anyone that's heard me talk before, and I talk a lot, but I do make a point of saying I'm a technical neophyte because really it is like a whole different world for me. But I'm very, very proud of the fact that I've managed to learn what I have learned. And I know there's a lot more to go. But what I did learn in the Facebook Live show really kind of helped me do what I'm doing now with my podcast. I'm doing the editing. I'm figuring out the sound stuff. And, as I said to you before we started recording, Santa just got me a laptop. So, my iPad is like, oh, that's been my baby for the last however many years. But I love just the journey of learning, the frustration of it and how long it can take, but the results you get, you end up really patting yourself on the back. So this is a great journey, just getting your brain working again and trying to not focus on so much negativity, which we know we are all surrounded by.
This is where productivity and learning and the growth mindset really help you with healing.
Yes.
Love that. Yes. So let's dig into something that you hinted at a little bit here. And it's the thing that I'm in awe of what you do and how you're balancing all these things. And I talk a lot about, okay, we don't have to do all the things, but when we are what I call multi-passionate, these are my people, when we love so many different things and we want to show up well doing all these things, I feel like you have the inside scoop on this. And that's a big part of what I wanted to talk about today. Moms, right? We juggle a lot. Yeah. And what is it? I'm sure there's more than one thing, but let's start talking about this. First of all, what is it that led you to each of the things that you do, and how do you find a way to create that elusive balance?
Firstly, all of the things I do are things that I'm passionate about. One of the biggest things for me in my life, in fact, one of my tattoos, I do love tattoos, but I can't learn to be a tattoo artist. I don't want to put needles in people, but I am a fan of getting them done. And one of my tattoos says, face the fear and do it anyway. So if I'm going to have a passion for something, the biggest umbrella with my passion, with my life is the passion for being me, for being alive, for being a ball of energy, for being positive. I know it's not realistic, but I want to spend most of my day laughing. I want to spend a lot of my day talking to people that I like. When I'm talking to people I don't like, there is that percentage of me, which is not a percentage you want to see very often. I'm a Nkwocha, and anyone that knows the Nkwocha family from Umowa in the western side of Nigeria, you do not want to see that side of me. So I like being light and as bright as I can be, and also being surrounded by people and things that inspire me, that can teach me. You know what I mean? Otherwise, what's the point of it all? So this is what pushes me. I have a passion for being alive, for socializing. That's a huge thing. So for someone who likes socializing and then you get locked in your house for however many months, it's a dangerous one. And the way that I decided I had to deal with it was I started organizing weekly, because obviously I was trying to do a lot of stuff with my children in the week, know, school wise, before school kind of opened up again, before, you know, when everyone was like, what is going on? What am I going to do? When that was going on, I thought, okay, it's all right. Because I, you know, I was sort of homeschooling my children, my daughter, anyway, my oldest daughter, before she started school. So I was like, let me get into homeschooling mode. Let me spend the days teaching stuff. And then when it came to Friday, as is the pattern I've started now, every Friday I would then start like a Zoom, I think I called it wine and chill or wine and something, with some of the mothers in my district, in my school district, in my town. So we would just, you know, people would just hop on, hop off with a glass of something adult to drink. And we would sit and just talk about the stress of the what's going on in the world and how it's affecting us. And just to have that community, to feel like we weren't going crazy on our own. You know, we were alone, yes, because we were stuck in our homes, but we were alone together. So that helped to cover the socialization part of my need in my life. But yeah, I need positivity. I need light. I also need champagne. Cocktail hour starts in about an hour. So I'm trying to get in my 80 ounces of water before I open a bottle of champagne. So there we go.
Balance.
Hello. So there you go. But balancing for me is like, I'm a huge fan of making schedules and making lists. Now, my phone is my best friend in that sense. Like literally, if something pops into my mind and I'm like, oh, I've got to do that, or I forgot to do that, put it on the list. You know, you go through the list throughout the day and you can check things off. I love the feeling of, whether it's accomplishment of, you know, getting one thing done or getting 10 things done, it's knowing that I've taken it off my brain and it's not all cluttered. It's on paper or it's on my device. I can see what I'm supposed to get through in each day. Even if I don't accomplish it all, I know that I need lists. I need scheduling. I can't do it hurts my head.
Yeah.
My brain is only this big. I need it to not be hurting. I need it to be like, that's what I need it to be doing.
I swear I am going to take that piece of the recording and put it on loop. And every time someone talks about decluttering and keeping a list and keeping track, we are going to play that. I'm like, this is what we're going for here. I also feel like I really need a bell to ring every episode. Someone mentions decluttering, because you just talked about brain decluttering. This is what I do with the focus file, where, you know, you take that 5 minutes to just put it all out of your brain and someplace safe. And you have created these systems, these trusted systems, your to-do lists, your calendar. By the way, I will totally add something to my to-do list that wasn't there that I just did so I could check it off. I'm just going to put that out there.
Okay, there you
right?
go.
Because it's satisfying, isn't it?
Oh my goodness me. Literally, the act of being able to see it in front of you and see all the checks, you're like, yes. Okay, I have earned that right now to just sit on a couch and watch, you know, an episode of you know, Law and Order SVU or another rerun of Sex and the City or, you know, Housewives or whatever. I've earned it because I was productive today. And not just for those of us that are at home, you know, sort of remote learning or helping our children who are remote learning, you know what it's about. To be sitting there, I can't just be sitting there staring into space. I always have things to do. It always baffles me when people say, I'm so bored. I'm like,
how?
I'm so confused with the amount of things you could possibly be doing in your life. How could you be bored? Do you know how many books out there that you could read? Even if you don't want to go to the library, you can buy books online or you can rent them, you know, audio books or whatever it is. How many books are there to read? How many podcasts are there to listen to?
Really good podcasts, by the way.
Right, exactly. How many languages are there to learn? My goodness. Oy vey. Anyway.
But given that, so, you know, one of the things that I coach is not overextending ourselves. But there's a distinct difference between I have to do all the things and I'm going to do them to my detriment versus what you are talking about. The things that you're describing are that you know your needs. First of all, you have immense clarity on how you want to be living your life and what you want to fill it with. When I talk about making space for what matters, that kind of decluttering, you are figuring out what matters and you're saying, that's what I want in there. So you remove the stuff that doesn't matter. Maybe you thought it did. Maybe other people are telling you that it did, but it doesn't. No, what really matters, do we have to do certain things that we don't want to? Yes, of course, we have to do certain things that we don't want to do. But the balance comes from being super selective. And the other thing you're talking about is being super creative. There are things you need to do, that you can make. And here's the other magical word that belongs with you, the fabulous and fun.
Yes, that is imperative. It's absolutely imperative. Even, and I don't know who I was listening to this morning, they were talking about when they clean, they've got their music on in their, earphones, whatever, really loud, dancing around, because that makes the whole, I don't want to be a cleaner, but I've got to clean my house. So how do I make it fun? By listening to music that I love. So yes, I am dancing around with my vacuum cleaner. I am dancing while I'm mopping. It makes it so much more doable and exciting. And it's like, okay, yeah, I listened to some good music. I've got a bit of a workout because I was moving solidly for 30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you say the decluttering, it doesn't only apply to what's in your house, right? It also can apply to people in your life.
Oh, yeah. Being selective about who you spend your time with.
Yes. That's it. I'll put a pin in it there.
Yeah, that was a good pin, though. Everybody notice the pin? Everyone. Yeah, notice that pin. Being selective about what you allow in your life. That's the decluttering we're talking about, whether it's the information that's coming into you, which can come through people, whether it's the people that you're spending the time with, knowing what your needs are. Just had an amazing conversation about intentional happiness with Julie Leonard. And it's incredible how much we need to talk about balance the positive with the negative. So when people are coming in and you are struggling because they are draining your energy, you need to find, it's like a 5-to-1 ratio of the positive to pull in there, or at least hang out with you each day.
But it's interesting because it's like when you allow negative in, and when it gets too much,
yes,
it pushes you down. It's like almost like your spine is getting compressed.
Yeah.
It's really, it's dangerous. You have to practice that self-care. So whether you, for instance, I mean, a big example for me, at least now, the first time I ever realized I had to declutter my life of people was a few years ago, and as painful as it can be, it's the best thing. Sometimes it's hard to make changes, but in the end, it's the best thing for you. So recently with the news, with everything, and I, for a while, was watching. So I'd watch the local news, and then I'd watch PBS and BBC World News, and it was a lot. And how was that? I mean, I was thinking I need to keep informed, and et cetera,
Right.
all the images that you're seeing. And a lot of the time I wasn't necessarily looking at the screen or whatever. I was listening with my earbuds or whatever. But you visualize, and it's a lot of negativity. And I had to actually talk to myself. I had to say, okay, listen, you need to stop. You need to cut this down. It's too much. And your light isn't having an opportunity to actually even get through even slightly. So we need to cut your duration, the amount of time that you're spending listening to what's going on in the world. Although it's important to have the knowledge, ignorance is not bliss. You have to, just for yourself right now, maybe just take a week off, or just watch a little bit, 10 minutes each day, and then pack up. Go.
That's right. None of this is all or nothing. If you need to be informed, you can be selective about when and how you get your information. You can be selective about your resources. Sometimes you can get your information through a summary from a trusted resource, whether that is a platform or a person. There are ways that you can get what you need while still filtering out what is weighing you down. And there is something you said I'm going to want to go back to. Listen, please listen for this idea that when you have these things that are coming in at you, that are weighing you down, that your light struggles to get through. That was beautiful, the way you describe that. And that's the thing. I'm always asking, what lights you up and how do you shine your light in this world? And how can we help you do that? Well, by removing those layers that are weighing you down, right?
Yeah, and not being afraid to, because it's I think maybe there's the, FOMO, fear of missing out or whatever. It's like, your mental health. I mean, never has there been a time, I think, certainly not in my lifetime, where mental health and taking care of your mental health has been so important. This is such an integral part of our lifetime. We have to take care of our mental health and the mental health of those around us that we know, that we love, that we care for, because it's beyond crazy right now, and you got to not let the crazy take over and you end up, running around up and down your street naked.
And that's another podcast for another day. But again, if it lights you up, naked except for a mask. I don't know.
Exactly.
Listen, hi, this is me here, not judging. Okay. So, but this is the thing. You're right. We have to care for ourselves and for each other. Our mental health is paramount right now. So asking yourself, my good friend, Michelle Perry, who has been on a couple of episodes with me talking about, or I've been on a couple of episodes with her and she with me, and we talked about finding your purpose. And one of the things she always says is, I'm too precious to allow that negativity on me. It's like, what am I allowing in my space? And she's a great example of a strong steward of her personal space. And I love that. That inspires me. Yeah. And I feel that from you too, is saying, okay, what belongs in here? What's my worth and how do I take care of this vessel? And I think too, if you are a giver, I know you're a giver, I'm a giver. Come on, we're all givers, right? Okay, we all bond together all the time. When you're a giver, you are the vessel that offers the giving. You need to care for that vessel.
That's it. Because also, if you're a giver, then there are always going to be people that will be happy to keep taking,
right?
Keep taking, keep taking, keep taking. And who is it? Was it you? Who is it that said you can't give from an empty vessel? Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not my bit, but it's still accurate. Yes. I say it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have to, and I don't know if that type of self-care, whether it comes with age or what, I'm not really sure. The self-worth thing, that's a whole different episode, because
yeah, that's a come back and let's do another episode on that one.
Yeah.
But that is a key foundational component. If you're struggling with that, that's where you need to start before you figure out what kind of quote self-care you're doing or what's on your list. Is understanding that you are worthy of all of it. When we talk about productivity and we talk about checking things off our list, there's a certain satisfaction in that, but you want that satisfaction to be authentic to who you are, what you're trying to achieve, and that the things that were on your list correspond to your goals and your dreams, and not that you're feeling as though it's only by doing that you are worthy,
Oof, that's fabulous. I'm not saying that people that don't have lists or don't schedule or don't, value their time as much as I feel like I value mine or you value yours. Like, I know people can't see this. The only way I can describe it is that I can't live like this, just kind of floating from here to there. I need to know that I have given myself purpose and that I am trying to achieve and attain whatever that purpose might be, whatever it is. I think when you set your mind to something, you should then go after it. A good Lady Macbeth quote is like, if you fail, then you fail. but at least you try. I don't ever want to, if I'm lucky enough to be awake when I'm about to take my last breath on this planet, I do not want one regret. I do not want to be lying there going, oh, I should have done that. Oh, I would have done this if I had, oh, I could have done. No. As Samantha from Sex and the City says, no shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Mm-mm.
Amen. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And we're done. No, I'm kidding. We're not done because we have to keep going. But my word, we could just stop right there. I could let you drop the mic and we'd be good.
I felt like I did drop the mic.
I know. Go pick. Why don't you pick it up? Because we're going to keep going just a little bit longer. But I mean, there's so much good here. It's about understanding who we are, what we want. You mentioned purpose. That's a huge thing. Knowing your why. And I'll tell you right now, we talk about know your why, and it sounds like this great phrase that eventually people are rolling their eyes at. But when you know why you're doing what you're doing, it will carry you through all of these other challenges of, well, when am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? Is it on my list? Am I even keeping a list? Those details, the how does work itself out when you know the why.
Yes. The answers somehow present themselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting how that happens. It's almost as if the universe says, okay, you put in half the work, like at least show me that you're motivated, that you're trying to whatever, and then I'll do some of the rest. And you're kind of, you go along like, I don't know why the universe talks like that. You show me that. That's what my universe talks like. So, oh, all right, Lauretta, well, let's see what you're up to. I
It's awesome. Oh, that's okay. You should hear how my brain talks. Okay, if you really want to. Gee, that sounds hard. Like that's because our brains do like to sabotage us. I'm just going to put that out there. But yeah.
But do you ever tell yourself to shut up? I do a lot of like, you shut up, just stop it. I do a lot of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm like, wait, you think it is. But did you think it through? And then my brain's like, I'm a brain. It's what I do. No, but I'm like, no, wait. Did we try it out? Oh, here's one of my favorite things when you're trying to create a habit, when you're trying to do something and your brain is doing that sabotage thing. Okay. It's a technical term, sabotage.
Oh, it is. Yes, it is.
All right. And you're like, oh, that's going to take forever. This is going to be so hard. I'm like, try it and time yourself. Great example. Oh, I don't have time to unpack the dishwasher or make the bed or do this. Time yourself. See how long it actually takes, because we are classic when it comes to this. Oh, I think it's going to be so much more than it is, so much more difficult. And I couldn't possibly, we need to let go of the couldn't possiblies. And I feel like you have done that so beautifully.
It's so funny because you just remind me of my 6-year-old son. Like when you're like, okay, Michael John, go and get dressed or something. And he's like, oh, getting dressed takes so long. I'm like, you know what? The amount of time you're spending telling me how long it's going to take, you would already have been dressed by now. I'm back here. Hello, just go and do it.
I've done that with the kids. I've taken a stopwatch. I'm like, let me time you. How fast can you do it? They love that, by the way.
Oh, the challenge, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we should do that for ourselves. So before we do wrap up, I'd love for you to tell us a bit more about your podcast and what brought you to that. I know you've described it to me, but please tell me here and now what it was.
Okay, well, being limited in my adult education, as it were, so I'm not a certified coach or a certified this, that, whatever. I'm a certified actor. I have, I studied at one of the best drama schools. I worked, for BBC. I did this, that, whatever, West End, etc. But I'm not an acting coach. What is it that is the most natural, authentic thing for me to do? Talking. Yes, I get that. But what else? Okay, I'm a woman. Great. I'm a mother. All right. I'm doing all these other things. I came here to do this. I'm doing that. I'm active in the PTA. I'm doing this. I'm doing that, whatever. I've got my husband. We have a very active, we do, all that type of stuff. I have active friendships and whatever. So, okay, you're balancing all of that. Yeah. All right. So then how are other parents doing it? And then it reminded me of, and I say this almost in every single episode of my show, which is called Living Out Loud with Lauretta. I forgot to plug that. One day when I was pregnant with my daughter, heavily pregnant, it was like 2 a.m. or something. I was watching a rerun of an Oprah Winfrey show. And the episode was about new parents, new mothers in particular. And I cannot forget this one mother who said, I haven't taken a shower for 3 weeks. I was mortified. I said, that will never be me. I understand and see now that there are not just new parents, but parents in general, that once they become parents, they lose whoever they were before. They forget that they were an adult in their own right. They just become mommy or daddy. They lose themselves in that parenting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's not the life that I want for me. There have to be other parents that are like that. So I thought, let me find out, how do other parents, whether you're the stay-at-home parent or whether you're out there running a multi-million-dollar corporation, how do you balance it? What are the mistakes you've made? What have you found out that works for you? And that's really what my show is about. I mean, I do throw in certain episodes which are about my indulgence, because that's part of what contributes to my balance. So, music and singing and dancing, that's part of my balance. Exploring, painters or poets or actors or, reading the gossips or whatever.
And you need to listen to Lauretta, because I swear you will say, Mariah, who? You're
Oh,
amazing. You are
oh my goodness.
so
All right.
good.
I'll pay you later. Okay.
All
I'll
right.
pay
All
you
right.
later.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay, good.
So
Anyway, so that is basically what led me to making my podcast all about parenting, and the balance, the pursuit rather of equilibrium, the pursuit of balance. And I love it. I love the stories that I get to hear. I love a lot of the sort of similar stories that I'm hearing, or the similar ways of establishing balance that I've heard from a lot of parents. And then some of the things that they've messed up on. It's very, very interesting. I love it.
yeah, and we learned so much from each other, but I loved that aspect of exploring the pursuit of balance, as you called it, and that we need to not lose ourselves. And I think it inspires others to not lose themselves in whatever caregiving capacity that they're in. And that's why I wanted to talk to you. Absolutely love that. And there was a friend who said some really wise words to me. I want to get this correctly. And it was something to the effect of, do not put their wants above your needs.
Ooh, I love it. I
So
love it.
wise, right?
I love that.
And I think that comes back around. This pulls it all together, that self-care is the musts. It's the needs. It's the things that we need to light up and shine in this world, to be who we are. And we can be all of these roles and all of these things and shine brightly, but we need to feed into that to nourish it.
Exactly. And it's not like, sometimes you're going to be giving, 80% to something and 20% to another. It's a constant juggling act.
Right.
But, as long as those balls are up there, you're in it. You're in it to win it. Oh, can I give you any more cliche line? Let me think of some more. Hold on. But like, seriously, you might drop some and it's like, okay, you pick it up and off you go. You carry on. While the balls are up there, you're alive. And at the point when you don't want to be juggling balls, put them down.
Exactly.
Take a seat. Right?
Take a breather. Ooh, let's keep going with the cliche. Okay. So now there's this whole thing I was reading recently, but I actually really love it. So I'm teasing, but I really love it, which is this whole idea of, you have some glass balls, you have some rubber balls, drop the rubber ones. And let me tell you something right now, who you are in giving all that you give to this world, you and all your needs, those aren't the rubber balls, my dear.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, but it's not a selfish thing to put yourself first in a way, especially if you do have people that you care for, people that you're caring for, if you're a caregiver.
Yeah.
Because if you're not fully, functioning, as it were, you can't be there, you can't be present and fully functionable for the people that you're caring for. And the analogy of, you're getting on a flight and you've got young children or whatever, and the over the tannoy, the loudspeaker, whatever, they always say, if there's an emergency, put your own gas mask on first or whatever before you take care of your children. Because if you don't want to be flying around, because then so will your children. You need to be centered, seated, buckled in, mask on, then you can take care of them, right?
Yeah, that's it right there. And the way that we do that, the way that you described so beautifully today, we get really clear, right, on what it is that we need. What are our needs? What are the things that light us up? That self-awareness is huge. And then take those steps, what you're describing. Yes, the lists, the schedules, but more importantly, It's about having that purpose and having it claimed and clear somewhere, right?
Exactly. I'm sorry, I just realized my ring light, which is my daughter's ring light. It's not the one I use for my podcasting, but it's like going, because she's used it all day. I was like, no, she's not going to be able to see me. Even though I know it's not, you're not doing this. I'm like, hold on, she can't see me. So I'm using some good artificial light here. Anyway, you can edit that out.
Or maybe I'll just leave it in
Okay, leave it in.
because another part of fabulousness, and I know we've already bonded over this, is just being present with our flaws, right?
Seriously, like, I need to get the lighting right. Okay, let's see. Let's figure it out. What works? All right. Okay, can I see it glistening off of my big 5 head? If I can see it, then we're on. Let's go. All right. So anyway.
I think we've gone where we need to go, but I would say, is there anything else that you want to share to inspire those who are giving so much to others to take a step into claiming their fabulous self?
What would you say to you if you met you about where you are in life? What would you say to you if you met you? And for me, it would be exactly what I have tattooed on me. And I have it tattooed on me because I like the way it looks, but it's already in my blood. And that is face the fear and do it anyway.
There you have it. All right. Are you ready to wrap up with me? We're going to keep the fun going.
Woohoo! Let's go.
Okay. I cannot wait, literally cannot wait for the answer to this first question. If you would please fill in the blank for me. The song that always makes me dance is?
Well, you're not going to like it because the list is an arm long. Remember, I'm a performer, I'm a singer, I have been introduced to pretty much all genres of music, and my taste is incredibly eclectic. So I can be dancing to, I don't know, Fall Out Boy this morning, dancing to Ludacris in the afternoon, dancing to Shaka Khan in the evening, jumping up and down to Stevie Wonder in the morning, rocking out to whatever. And I don't know if it's because I'm a Libra, so my choices, I literally have too many of them. I can't even give you one answer. It's like asking me to choose which one of my children that I love the most.
I just used that example today. I'm like, don't ask me for a favorite. It's like asking me to pick my favorite child. All right. You know what, darling? I'm going to give you a pass on this.
Okay.
With this one caveat.
Okay.
The next song you come across that you get up and dance to, which I know is like so easy because literally I could put on anything and you get up and dance. But the next one that happens, you submit to me.
Yes.
And it goes on the Positively Living Podcast dance playlist, probably volume 2 at this point, and it will go on that Spotify playlist. So you're all going to have to pay attention and maybe even message me if you want to know what that song will be. It will be a surprise song.
I mean, I'll tell you what, because I'm, getting ready Friday, school is over. So I get ready to do because I conduct my interviews on a Friday as well. So generally in my bathroom, it's nice and loud and it tends to be a playlist on Pandora. Actually, I don't really use Spotify that much downstairs. We use it upstairs, but it's Pandora and it's all dance music. So it's all, So I will, don't worry, I will even video myself shaking everything my mother gave me. I will send it to you.
Okay. Yeah. That's like the best gift I could get. Okay. So you gave us an incredible quote already. And this can be the answer too, unless you have another one. But the quote or perhaps the mantra that I share all the time is,
treat people the way you want to be treated.
Beautiful. All right. And the resource, book, or app, any of those that makes my life easier?
I would say probably Google. Sorry, but I search a lot of things like definitions, phrases, or the Translate app. That's the other thing, because our babysitter is Spanish and she really only speaks Spanish. So I'm supposedly learning. It's not quite going well. So I would say Google for pretty much everything.
There you go.
Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Google. I'm married because of Google. Another podcast for another day. We'll talk later.
Goodness, really? I love that. Really?
I know. I know. Okay. So now that you're all wondering, no, we'll get into it later. But first,
can I say we'll probably get into it because I need you to come on my show. So I need to talk about the good, like nuggets like that. I need to certainly delve into.
Yeah. We'll do that. That'll be a plan. I'll keep you posted. Yeah. So last, but most certainly not least, you started with it. I always end with it. So here's another opportunity. What or whom else are you grateful for today, Lauretta?
Oh, my mommy, who risked her life, who endured a very, very abusive relationship, who raised 5 children on her own. And when women or men, anyone that is going through mental or physical abuse at the hands of someone else, it's hard to understand how they don't have control of their own mind, but it really does happen that way. I am grateful that at some point, I know what pushed her to the limit, and that was when it was clear that my father was actually trying to kill her, literally was ready, had planned. It's like a movie, and one day I will write all this craziness down. She risked her life to do what she could to make sure that myself and my siblings would have safety and a future away from my father. She has championed every single step that I've taken. She pretty much bankrolled me coming to America in the first place. At one point, she had 3 jobs. She was leaving early in the morning to go and clean this place, then coming back, late morning, then going off to another job, coming back, having a cup of tea, then getting dressed, going to another cleaning job in the hospital. She did this for months on end. She bought our first house. This is a single woman who had, me being a mother, I know I'm not completing my sentences now because now I'm trying not to cry, but her...
Too late for me.
Leaving this earth before I became enough of an adult to be a mother and parent myself and caring for other humans, it's hard for me to not be able to pick up the phone and ask her, how the heck did you do it? How did you do it all? But I am forever grateful to that woman who showed strength despite all of the adversity, despite almost losing her life. Despite all of it, she loved, and she was a ball of love. She is the queen. She is the queen in my life forever.
Well, I am most certainly grateful to her because that's what led you to be here today. And that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I am so looking forward to us talking again, to being on your podcast, to having everyone who hears this listen for your podcast, connect with you online. Tell us where we can find you.
I am at Lauretta Nkwocha everywhere, pretty much. And the spelling of that is LaurettaN for November, KWOC for Charlie, H for happy, A for apple. That's me. Nigerian name. Tough to spell, but fabulous.
But so worth the search. But I'll make it easy. We'll have the links in the show notes, so you will be found. And I am so thankful. Thank you, Lauretta, for shining your light in this world and for sharing it with us today.
Thank you, my darling.
We ask, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Marianne Williamson. Thank you for joining me on the Positively Living podcast. Your time is precious, and I'm honored you chose to spend it with me. Would you like to further explore the topics you've heard and implement what inspires you? Could you use some coaching support? What if you could attend a private Q&A with my guests and access bonus content? You can do all that and more in the Positively Living membership community. Check the link in the show notes or head to positivelyproductive.com/membership to enroll. I look forward to having you join me next episode and in the community. Until then, keep it positive and keep making space for what matters most.